Hello, my name is Susan COCHENNET, and today I'd like to share with you my experience as an intern for SOS CASA of the Flint Hills. The purpose of SOS CASA of the Flint Hills is to advocate for children in need of care, whether they live in Chase or Lyon County. This means that as a child comes into the foster care system, they are appointed a CASA, or court-appointed special advocate, and that was my role in this internship. As such, I was responsible for developing a relationship with the child, interviewing and developing a relationship with each of the parties involved in the case, which included the parents' counselors, the child's therapist, the foster parents, social workers, attorneys, drug and alcohol counselors, physicians, and finally the judge. Once I gathered all of the information, I would then put it together and submit a court report that would advocate for the child's best interest. There are two theories that are in the forefront of what CASA does. The first is play therapy. Many children who come into care in CASA are quite young, and as such, it's often difficult for them to verbally express their emotions, either because of their age or because of the trauma they've experienced. And so play therapy becomes a way for the children to communicate their feelings, to let someone know their fears and their thoughts when they can't verbally express them. So as children engage in play therapy, they learn how to express themselves, to modify their behavior, to solve problems in a safe environment. Second, the theory of child advocacy is at the forefront of CASA's program. CASA was developed by a judge who oversaw a number of foster care cases in his court. And he was concerned that he didn't have all the information he needed to understand what was truly in the child's best interest. And so from that concern sprang the CASA program. Since that time, thousands of children have been appointed their own advocate, and studies show that children who have a CASA have much better outcomes than children without a CASA. In my experience with the internship, I saw my kiddo engage in play therapy with very positive results. My child was quite young when he came into care and unable to verbalize his wishes or his feelings, and so he began acting out with self-harm. And after being evaluated, he was approved for play therapy. And in play therapy, he would create themes in which he would assign characters as good or bad. And the therapist was able to utilize that opportunity to teach him the difference between good and bad people and good and bad actions. The second thing my kiddo would do in play therapy was use toys in family situations. So he would pick up the farm animals and put them in families, a mommy cow and the daddy cow and the baby cow. And the therapist was able to help him to learn behaviors of healthy families. And finally, as this kiddo worked through play therapy, he learned and was able to stop his self-harming behavior. My second experience was with child advocacy, and that's where the depth of my experience was in this internship. I was able to develop a relationship with this kiddo by spending time with him. When a child comes into foster care, they are in care for months and sometimes years. And during that time frame, their lives are upended. Oftentimes, when they're removed from a home, they don't have contact with one or more parents or extended family members. They're oftentimes forced to switch schools or daycares. They may have social workers who are assigned and reassigned who change on a regular basis. Their attorney or guardian ad litem can oftentimes change. And so the one constant in that child's life for the time that he or she is in foster care is their CASA. And so for me, that was really important to develop a trusting relationship with this kiddo such that he knew that I was a constant in his life. Secondly, I was able to develop a relationship with the other parties in the case. And in so doing, I was able to gain a perspective that helped me to understand where each parent was in their own personal growth and development. Many parents are in drug or alcohol treatment or are in their own therapy. And so coming to know the therapist and reviewing their notes, visiting with the parents and understanding their goals, all of those opportunities to develop relationships really help a CASA to understand what's in the kiddo's best need. And finally, I was able to write court reports, and this is probably for me the heaviest responsibility as a CASA, because this is a detailed record of everything that the CASA experiences. And it is what the judge relies on. I was called on in court to testify regarding my court report, and the judge reads it and takes it into account when he makes his decision and a ruling as to what is in the child's best interest. So in conclusion, the opportunity to work as an intern for SOS CASA of the Flint Hills provided me with exposure to children in need of care and children who had experienced neglect or abuse in a way that I don't think I would have had in any other experience. And so having this experience of working with these children and their families has encouraged me to continue to work with them, and one day as a clinician work specifically with children who have been abused or neglected and their families. I also learned more about advocacy and about play therapy. I learned that play therapy is absolutely crucial in children's lives, that children who have experienced trauma benefit greatly from the ability to express their emotions through play. And not only is it a great tool for children who have experienced trauma, but it's a great preemptive measure for any child. And then finally, I learned that the CASA program truly is beneficial to children in need of care, that studies show that their outcomes are far better than children without a CASA. And I feel like this program should be expanded whenever possible. And finally, thank you for listening to me today and for taking the time to learn about SOS CASA of the Flint Hills. And I would just end by saying that if you ever have the opportunity to volunteer with this organization, it is incredibly rewarding and it is a great work. Thank you.